Hey everyone, it's me David. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys a set of ZBLL known as the Diag set. It's recognized as when you hold it from this angle, you see opposites here and opposites here. And that's how you recognize that you have a Diag T case. And I'm going to be teaching you guys all of the cases for this subset. And I'm going to be teaching the easiest to remember algs. These might not be the fastest algs for execution, but they are very easy to remember, and they're not that much slower than like the most speed optimal algs. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video and I hope you guys learn something. Now before I teach you guys this first case, I just want to thank Max Shao and some other ZBLL Google Sheets that I've used to form these algs. So yeah, this is the first case. Now, how we recognize ZBLLs is by holding it like this and looking at certain blocks. And for this, we see two big blocks. And we see that the big block in the front is on the left instead of the right. And the algorithm we use for this case is we don't do any U moves. We keep it like this. And we do this algorithm. So do R prime, U, R2. Then do a D move. Wide R prime, U2, wide R, and then you do the reverse of the first few moves. D prime, R2, U prime, R. So again, R prime, U, R2, D. Think of that like a setup move. Then we're doing the wide R prime, U2, wide R, and then we're reversing those moves. D prime, R2, U prime, R. So yeah, pretty easy alg to remember, and we don't need to do any U moves at the start, which is very, very nice. Now this is the mirror of this case, because you see we still have the same two big blocks, but this time the front block is on the right instead of the left. So what we do is a U2, and then we do the inverse of that, or like mirror of the first alg. So we do, it's pretty much the same concept. We're doing a setup move, and then like 3 moves with like wide moves, and then reversing the setup moves. So here's how it goes. R, U prime, R2, D prime. Then we do our wide R moves. Wide R, U2, wide R prime. And then we're doing the inverse of the first few moves. D, R2, U, R prime. So again, we're doing the first few moves, R, U prime, R2, D prime. Then we're doing wide R, U2, wide R prime. And then we're inversing the first few moves, D, R2, U, R prime. So yeah, pretty easy case to remember. And it's pretty fast to execute, even though my turning isn't really so good. So yeah, this next ZBLL case is where we have only one block, and it's going to be in the front all the time. And for this case, the block is on the right. And what we do for both of these cases, whether the block is on the right or the left, is we do a U move straight away. And this case is one of my favorite ZBLL cases. It's actually really nice to execute, and it's really easy to remember as well. What we're doing is a double sexy move to start. But instead of just doing an R prime, we're doing an R2, because after the R prime, so once we've done the double sexy, we're cancelling into a blind com. R prime, D prime, R, U prime, R prime, D, R. So pretty much like if you've ever done 3-style on blind, it's like a blind com. If not, it's still pretty easy to remember. Then we're doing a U2, R, U prime, R prime. So again, we're doing double sexy, cancel into the blind com. So we're doing R2, D prime, R, U prime, R prime, D, R, then inserting the pair. So yeah, pretty easy case to remember. Really nice to execute. So yeah, this next case is the mirror of the last case. Instead of the single block being on the right, it is now on the left. But again, we're doing a U move to start off with. So now we're pretty much doing a mirror of the last case. So instead of doing a double sexy in the front, we're doing a back double sexy. And if you look at the double sexy move that we're doing in the last alg, it's pretty much just taking out this pair. So what we're going to do is take out this back pair with a double back sexy. And again, we're not just finishing off the double sexy, we're cancelling into a blind comb. We're doing an R2, D, R prime, U, R, D prime, R prime. And then again, we're just inserting this pair. So very similar to the last alg. Pretty nice to execute as well. So again, and inserting the pair. So yeah, these next two cases is when we have still a single block, but it's not in the front anymore, it's on the sides. So it's pretty much like a pseudo R-perm block. And for this specific case, it's on the left. And when it's on the left, we're going to start off with a U2. And this algorithm, how I remember it, I'm just going to run it with you guys. So first, take out this pair, do a U2. And now, same kind of concept as the last two cases. We're doing a blind comb. So R prime, D prime, R, U, R prime, D, R. And you can cancel into just solving this pair. So it's actually the inverse of the last alg that we did. See, we do that last alg and we actually get this alg. But yeah, it's quite an easy alg to remember. Pretty nice to finger trick. And so yeah, I'm going to show you guys when the block is on the right. Alright, so here we see the block is on the right. And it's actually a lot nicer because we don't have to do any U moves. We just keep it like this. Same kind of concept as the last. So take out this pair, but instead of this pair, we're doing the back pair. And again, we're doing a U2. And again, we're doing a blind comb. R, D, R prime, U prime, R, D prime, R prime, and we're cancelling into solving this pair in the back. So yeah. Again, taking out the pair, doing a U2, R, D, R prime, U prime, R, D prime, R prime, blind comb, solving this pair, and we're cancelling into solving the pair. This next case is when we have no blocks in the front, but in the back, we see all of these colors are the same. And we can kind of recognize it from the front that it's kind of symmetrical. Like this is orange, and this is orange. That's kind of how we recognize it from the front. But again, we're doing a U2 anyway, so we can just recognize it from the back. We can just see that if there's a bar, all three matching, then we know we have this case. This case, a lot of these algs actually use blind comms. So if you're familiar with blind comms, you're actually going to be very easy to learn these algs. So what we're doing is we're starting off with an F move, kind of like a setup move. We're doing a blind comb. R prime, D prime, R, U, R prime, D, R. Then we're doing a U, R prime, D prime, R, U prime, R prime, D, R. And then we're finishing off the alg by just undoing our setup moves. And so yeah, it's quite an easy alg. Again. So yeah, this next case is when we have kind of the opposite of the last case, where this is red, and this is opposite. So like these two corners are opposite to this edge. And we also see that these are opposite, kind of like a T-perm, the same, opposite, same. So what we do is we start off with a U move. And then this is actually pretty easy to remember. Wide R, U, wide R prime. And then we're doing a double sexy. Then we're undoing the setup move, wide R, U prime, wide R prime. And then we just have this OLL case, F sexy, F prime. Probably not the fastest way to solve it, but very easy to remember. So yeah. So these last two cases are actually pretty difficult to recognize, but we see the best way to recognize these two cases, in my opinion, is by looking at the side and seeing that we have opposites. And for this case, the opposites are on the right. And we're not going to do any U moves or anything before the alg. So we're just doing the alg. So what we're doing is we're splitting up. It's actually quite an easy alg to remember. Again, blind comms will be used, so be warned. We're doing splitting up this pair, splitting up the pair again, Then we're going to insert this edge into here by doing a U prime and then inserting it. And then we just have a 3 blind com. So we're doing a U, R prime, D prime, R, U, R prime, D, R. So yeah, pretty easy alg. Now this last case is probably the hardest case on this whole subset of ZBLL. This time the opposite block is on the left. And what we're doing is a U move. And let me just get another 3x3 to sort of show you guys how this alg works. So pretty much we have this R perm, and if you don't know this alternate R perm alg, this algorithm is probably going to be very difficult to memorize, and you're probably just going to have to memorize the moves. But this R perm alg goes like this. So yeah, if you know that R perm alg, it's probably going to be a very easy alg to remember. So what we're doing is a U, R2, F, R, U, R, U prime, R prime. Now it's the same start as that R perm alg. But instead of doing, usually you do an F prime and then finish the alg. But instead of doing that, we're doing an F, R, U2, R prime, U2, R prime, F2, R2. So I don't actually use that alg. I'm still kind of learning that one because it's actually pretty difficult. But yeah, it's pretty difficult to learn those last two cases. If you were to not learn some of these, I would understand if you just don't learn those two cases. But they are helpful to know, but you honestly don't really need to know them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you guys learned some algs, and I'll see you guys next time.